For years, we've been told what a great leader looks like. You know the type, tough, stoic, always has the answer. But what if that image, that entire idea, is actually a liability now? Today, we're diving into a completely different kind of strength, one that might just be the most powerful tool you have to keep your best people.
So, let's just tackle this head-on. Is that old-school, iron-fisted leader who knows everything actually costing us our best talent? The truth is, that traditional model was all about authority. But the workplace today, it runs on a totally different currency. And right here, this is the price we're paying for getting it wrong. I mean, look at these numbers from a 2024 Gallup report. They're staggering. In Europe, a whopping 72% of employees are not engaged. They're showing up, sure, but mentally, they've checked out. This isn't just a morale issue. This is a full-blown crisis in performance and retention. It's crystal clear. The old way of leading just isn't cutting it anymore. This is exactly where we need to flip the script on how we think about leadership. And that brings us to a powerful new idea, the vulnerability strategy. Okay, let's get one thing straight right off the bat. When we talk about vulnerability, we are not talking about weakness. Not at all. We are talking about a deliberate, high-impact strategy. It's the tool you use to build real, authentic connections that make talented people not just want to work for you, but want to stay with you. So the principle behind all of this is something called harmonic integration. Think of it like this. It's that perfect sweet spot where the company's big goals perfectly align with our basic human needs. The need to feel seen, to be trusted, to feel valued. It's kind of like tuning a guitar. When the professional goals and the human needs are in perfect harmony, you get an amazing result. Peak performance. It's all about remembering that we get the absolute best from people when we honor the fact that we're all, well, human. So that's the big idea. But how does it actually play out? On a Tuesday morning with your team. How does being a little more open actually lead to a team that's loyal and firing on all cylinders? Well, it all comes down to building the most valuable currency there is, trust. And this right here is where the magic happens. Imagine your boss starting a meeting by saying, "You know what? I'm not totally sure how to solve this. What do you all think?" Or, "Hey, I messed up on that last project." That doesn't make them look weak. It does the opposite. It makes them human. And it sends a massive signal to everyone in the room that it's okay to be honest here. It's safe to not have all the answers. And that feeling, that sense that it's safe to be real, it actually has a name: psychological safety. This is the absolute bedrock of any creative, high-performing team. It's the belief that you can speak up, share a crazy idea, ask a question, or even admit a mistake without getting shot down or humiliated. And it has to start at the top, with a leader who's willing to go first. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This all sounds a little soft, right? A little touchy-feely. Well, let's talk numbers, because this isn't just about feelings. There is a clear, data-driven payoff, a very tangible return on investment. Just take a look at this number for a second. $180 billion. That's what it costs U.S. businesses every single year, because people leave their jobs due to a lack of empathy from their leaders. That's the staggering price of leading like a stranger. And here's the flip side, the opportunity. When a leader is willing to show some vulnerability, the trust their team has in them jumps by 60%. That is a massive return on the most important leadership currency you can have. And that trust, it unlocks everything else. It's not some abstract concept. Look at the ripple effect. We're talking a 25% increase in team engagement, a 30% boost in innovation, because people finally feel safe enough to share their best ideas. And maybe the most critical of all, a 40% jump in resilience. That's the team's ability to bounce back from anything. Okay, so the why is undeniable, but the how can feel a little tricky, right? How do you actually do this without oversharing or, looking like you don't have it together? The key is a practice called selective transparency. Now, this is probably the most important distinction we're going to make. Leadership vulnerability isn't about just dumping all your emotions on your team. It is not a therapy session. It's about being thoughtful. It's intentional. Before you share something, you just ask one simple question. Is sharing this going to help my team or our work? The goal is always to connect, not to create a burden. So let's get really practical here with some clear guardrails. On the don't side, stay away from the deep specifics on personal health, relationship drama, or your own financial worries. But the do column is where the power is. If you're going to share a challenge you're facing, try to pair it with how you're thinking about tackling it. That shows honesty and confident leadership at the same time. And this isn't some academic theory. The best leaders in the world are already doing this. Take Satya Nadella at Microsoft. He apparently starts meetings by talking about a recent mistake he made or something he learned. In one simple move, he sets the tone for the entire room. It's safe to be imperfect here, as long as we're learning.
Or look at Indra Nooyi, the former CEO of PepsiCo. She was open about the guilt she felt balancing her huge job with her family. But here's the key. She didn't just share the struggle, she channeled it into action. She used her personal vulnerability to push for real change, like on-site childcare, that made the company better for everyone. Now that is vulnerability with a purpose.
Look, you don't have to have some huge personal transformation overnight. You can start small. Seriously, in your next team meeting, just share one small mistake and what you learned from it. Or ask for help with a problem you're genuinely stuck on. Or maybe the simplest one of all, ask someone, how are you really doing? And then just listen.
Because when you start putting all these little pieces together, the psychological safety, the trust, the small acts of openness, it builds toward a whole new vision of what it means to be a truly effective and frankly irreplaceable leader.
At the end of the day, here's the simple truth. You've heard the saying, people don't leave bad jobs, they leave bad managers. The glue that holds a great team together, a team that's resilient, innovative, and stable, isn't the ping pong table or the free snacks. It's authentic human relationships. So, if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. Leading with vulnerability isn't a sign of weakness. It's the ultimate sign of strength and confidence. It doesn't make you soft. It builds the kind of trust and loyalty that makes you, as a leader, truly irreplaceable. So the real question isn't whether you can do this. It's, can you afford not to?